Hello friends, I'm here today to talk to you about immune health. Last segment we talked about gut health and the importance of dietary fiber. Well, I think of gut health and immune health as inextricably linked because did you know that roughly 80% of your immune system lives in your gut lining? Isn't that incredible? So hence, if your gut is healthy, your immune system should be fairly healthy. It stands to reason. So I thought today I would talk about a couple of ways, a couple of natural approaches that you might take to fortify your immune system going into the fall and winter seasons. Fall is here, and many of us are struck. We're instantly hit by a seasonal cold or flu as soon as the weather changes. So listen today, I have a few sort of techniques and tips, pointers that hopefully will keep you healthy for the season. And you can take them or leave them, but they come from my heart. So I have a couple of supplements first that I'll start with. These are things that I recommend for all of my health coaching clients. They're things that I take personally and that I give my family. I'm going to start out with vitamin D3. So vitamin D3 is perhaps the most important supplement that I can recommend. Most people don't get nearly enough vitamin D, either from dietary sources or from natural sunlight. And in fact, going into fall and winter, it's nearly impossible to get enough vitamin D from sunlight alone. So really supplementation is key. I recommend you start with maybe 1,000 or 2,000 IUs a day. But you should also check with your doctor. I try to get a full blood panel every couple of years to have my vitamin D levels tested, along with many other things. And that way you can see what your baseline is and decide on proper supplementation from there. The next one I'm going to talk about is zinc. And this is chelated zinc. It's a form of zinc that's more bioavailable, so more readily absorbed by the body. Zinc does bother some folks' stomachs, so just kind of take note. You have to be really your own sort of experiment, if you will. Think of yourself as a scientist. So some of these things you have to try and you see what works and what doesn't. Zinc comes usually pretty standard in 50 milligrams, and it's really, really incredible for strengthening the immune system. Even if you feel a cold coming on and you start taking zinc, for me personally, it tends to shorten the duration of an illness. So zinc is great. If you happen to like oysters are full of zinc, so go eat oysters. Finally, for a supplement that I think is super important, I'm going to recommend fish oil, which is full of omega-3 fatty acids. And again, most folks don't tend to get nearly enough essential fatty acids, mostly in the form of omega-3s. And I think that fish oil is a really wonderful source. Get a good purity tested brand. And if anybody's interested in brand recommendations, you can convo with me about that. So that's that on supplements. There are, of course, many other things that one might take. There are other herbal applications that I might talk about in another segment, but those are the three big ones for me. I'm going to talk about a few dietary things, sort of food sources that I think are wonderful for immune health. I'm going to start out by talking about miso paste. Miso is so underused. It's full of probiotics. This is a fresh, cultured, live food. So it's fermented soybean paste, usually. Sometimes it's made with barley, but usually soy. So it also tends to be gluten-free. It stores in your fridge for many, many, many months and up to several years. It has a long shelf life. It is incredibly good for the gut, so good for the immune system too. And think of miso as something that you might put in not only soups, but maybe some salad dressings. I also love to use it in marinades. So it makes for a wonderful Asian flavored marinade for fish or chicken or vegetables, tofu, whatever you like. I happen to like ginger and miso together. So that brings me to the ginger. Ginger is incredibly good for inflammation and good for digestion. So in another segment, I'll probably talk about the anti-inflammatory diet, and ginger would be on the top of the list of foods that tie into that. But ginger can be used, you can grate it or mince it and add it to steamed vegetables, roasted vegetables, soups, salads, dressings. I love to make a very simple ginger tea, and it's super simple. You peel and slice the ginger and add it to boiling water. If you want to step it up a little bit, you can add lemon or honey or cinnamon stick, but very, very simply, it could just be the ginger and boiling water. Let it steep for 30 minutes to an hour to 2 hours. The longer the steep time, the spicier the tea. And the spicier the tea, the more sort of potent it will be in fighting inflammation and for really settling the stomach. It's great after meals. I tend to love it after lunch and dinner in the fall and winter months. So ginger is awesome. And then finally, I'm going to talk to you about root vegetables. So I love adding root vegetables into my regimen for fall and winter. Root vegetables are very grounding. I have a sweet potato and a beet here, and I love to just chop them into sort of a medium dice and roast them at about 425 degrees. Actually, I love to make a miso ginger dressing to go on top of my root vegetables. Root vegetables are what we refer to as sweet vegetables. So it's a great complex carbohydrate that's full of, good sugars. And they're the sweet vegetables. So they're great for fighting sweet tooth. If you happen to have like a lot of sugar cravings, they're really wonderful in mitigating that. So root vegetables are awesome. Okay, a couple of other things before I leave you. I can't address the topic of immune health without talking about a couple of other things. So I think it's an obvious point, but 8 hours of sleep per night is really super, super important. If you can get 7, that's great. 8 or 9 is even better. The importance of sleep is just like not to be understated. And actually, there's recently been discovered a whole new sort of system in the body called the glymphatic system. And that refers to the system in the brain that actually sweeps away all of the waste that's created, all of the buildup that's created in our brains during daily activity that is only washed away during sleep. So sleep is so, so important. So 8 hours a night. Exercise, so moderate to strenuous exercise a couple of times a week to the point of sweating, because sweating is so incredibly good for detoxification. And another thing I'm going to show you very quickly is, yes, what is this? This is a long-handled brush that's good for something called dry brushing. So you actually take the brush and scrub it along the surface of the body, and you brush up towards the heart, and you can use it all over the body. It takes a little bit of getting used to because it can feel pretty abrasive. But the idea is that you use this brush here to loosen off all of the dead skin cells on the surface of your skin. And then you get in the shower and wash it all away. And it's part of the healthy detoxification process. Okay, lots of hydration and then stress reduction. Stress reduction is so important. And this is the time of year when many of us take on lots of new obligations, new activities, packed schedules. So it's a very, very good time of year for clarifying. So go into that sort of tunnel vision mode where you think about what's truly important, setting your intentions, and then cutting out what's not necessary. So I tend to call that cutting the fat with my coaching clients. So I hope those things were helpful. I wish you lots of luck in strengthening your immune system, and I will see you next time. Peace.